Hello there, lovely friends. It's really nice to be back with you, making a little double page spread in my scrap therapy book. And as you can see, I'm making a page with a photo of the neighbour's cat, which I realise is a little odd. She's not even our cat, but she's such a joyful little creature and just so lovely to have around. And I think since everything's changing at the moment and things are very strange and we're all trying to find our new normal, I'm really appreciating having little things like this in my life. Little Polly, who comes into the garden whenever I'm hanging out the laundry, and just little things that make life feel like it hasn't changed all that much. So I'm making a page about Polly. This process video is a sped up edited version of a class that I taught, so there's a lot of pointing and hand wiggling and waving, so I'm sorry about that, and I hope it's still fun to watch this page come together, even if it is sped up and a bit random in places. But I did just want to share today because it's International Scrapbooking Day. Hooray! It's a day for us to play and enjoy and just really headplant in our hobby, which is, I think, what a lot of us need right now. Just that time for us just to remember what we love and just to enjoy ourselves. Maybe switch the news off for one day and relax with a coffee and check out all the challenges and the offers and the freebies and just enjoy fun. I think it's remembering fun is important. So this page is made with some of my own designs. I've had plenty of time on my hands, strangely, so got a bit creative, and I've done all my usual sort of sorbet colours, favourite things. And I wanted to make a page or a couple of pages about hope, about how important hope is right now, just looking for the little everyday beautiful gifts really in our lives that do remind us that there's hope. I mean, little things like yesterday I spotted on our clematis, I planted a clematis last year and it's looked very underwhelming, and I kind of thought it would scramble over the shed and be full of pink beauty by now, but it didn't. It actually looked like it died. I've got a bit of a black thumb. But then yesterday I noticed there is actually a very beautiful pink flower appeared on the little clematis. So there's hope. There's always hope. There are new things coming unexpectedly, and we will make it through this time. This is a very strange time for everyone, but there are brighter days ahead, and we do need to remind ourselves of that, even as we perhaps faceplant into our faith and creativity and whatever is helping us get through the days at the moment when so much troubling stuff is going on. So I've made a bow. Bows are one of my favourite things. You can just cut out a piece of pretty paper and make bows, and butterflies too, as you can see here. Butterflies are another of my favourites. They're a nice bulky, well, they're both nice bulky embellishments that you can make yourself for no money, especially if you've got a colour printer and a few digital kits. So that's a really thrifty way to go to give your pages some dimension. You can see here I've done my usual layering trick, just one photo, lots of pretty papers, lots of ruffling. I like a bit of ruffling. Nothing too neat. And the beauty of this way of working for me, I know I say it a lot, but there really is no right or wrong. These aren't works of art. They're not pretending to be works of art. It's just getting stuck in to your stash, your craft stash, just pulling out pretty things and sticking them together and really just playing with the materials. I think a lot of us enjoy buying pretty things and then we kind of have them sitting there sort of too precious to use, and I think this way of working is just so much fun because it's just, let's pull things out, let's throw it all on, and it doesn't have to be anything. This is not for anybody other than us. It's just playtime, pure and simple. So here I'm fiddling about with trying to make this second page work, and I do struggle with this one. I can't get it quite right. I wanted that ice cream paper to be my background, but it has thrown me a little bit. I think because that first page came together so easily, this one is bothering me, and you'll see me faffing about for ages with this because I really can't make it work. I want some bullet points there. As you can see, those lemons are going to be my bullet journaling points, and in these scrap therapy books I try and either list things I'm grateful for, things I'm struggling with, something from my day that happened. I just try and get down how I'm feeling at the moment. Sometimes it's great and I'll write down positives. Other times it's I'm really struggling and this is what happened. I lost my temper with so and so and I had to apologise later, and that sort of thing. I just want to note it down really. So it's really just a highly embellished diary of sorts. So I finally settle on a journaling card there with that hope always. And there's a lot of hope, but I think I need a lot of hope at the moment. I think we need to remember hope, that that there are brighter days ahead, even if these current ones are very strange. So I'm using lots of foam pads because when you're using a digital kit like this, it can be nice to have all that extra lift and dimension. Your pages really do benefit from a bit of extra pop. I think that's why I ruffle things up too, to add that texture that you're missing really from the more dimensional embellishments. Ruffling, there we are. Edge of the scissors does the trick every time, and I'm just pointing out how I'm kind of lining that up. So I hope this finds you all okay. These are tricky times, and I think we're all being touched by this horror, this thing. And I pray as you watch this that you know comfort and you find hope, even if grief and tragedy are touching your life right now, because I don't think there are many of us that don't have some loved ones at least who are finding their lives touched by this thing. It's a tough time for sure, and we need to give ourselves plenty of grace to travel through this time, and give each other grace too, because I think we're all quite close to the edge of losing it. I know I am, for sure. Okay, I have no idea what I'm going on about here. Oh, sticking some things down would be a good idea. I thought that was already stuck. So, my balloons are going down. I actually had to go out and, I got into trouble actually. I went out, there was a cat outside having a go at our patio window, having a go at my cat, who's an indoor cat. So I went out to try. I do actually like the cat that was having a go at mine, so I went out and stroked her, and she was curling around my ankles and then wouldn't let me get back in my house. So I panicked a bit really, because I was stuck out in the garden in my dressing gown, and couldn't really open the back door to get back in, because either my cat would have got out or she would have climbed in. So I ended up I was about to go around to the front of the house and shout through the letterbox, somebody help me out here. It was all very dramatic. But then when I did, she went through the side gate and I quickly slammed it shut and nipped back into the house. So then lots of cat dramas going on, shayfish. So I've just popped a little label there, a little black and white label. I do like a little bit of black and white on my pages. Not too much, just a little hit. I've got quite a lot on this one, given that Polly is such a lovely colouring. And I'm just adding a bit more lemon there now, because I've got the lemons on the right and I also want them on the left to tie in the colours. And you can see I've tied in the Have Hope blue with that blue gingham on the right. I do like a little bit of each colour, just enough of each colour on each page, so that they hang together nicely visually. A bit more pink is appearing. That sort of layered bit on the left there, I just wanted as intricate and sort of interesting, fascinating, Wilna would say, as possible, so I'm really layering up the bits there. And I like that when these books close, there's lots of tags and things sticking out and interesting bits and bobs. Right, a paperclip. Paperclips are brilliant actually for this sort of thing because they're cheap as chips and they really do add a nice bit of metal. We need some metal. So I'm adding a little circular element there to my balloons. And that says be kind to you, I think. Can't tell at this size. And I toy with the idea of adding a little bunting thing there at the top, but decide there's actually enough going on that page. That might have worked on a layout with a bit more background white, but at this scale, really, you reach a point where it's done. There's enough happening, and there's enough colour. So I'm just auditioning a few papers there behind that spot, just to see if any of them float my boat. They better had now that I've torn the paper. And I'm getting distracted there with the label. But I do go back to that in a moment. So I hope you're enjoying International Scrapbooking Day and having fun and you're not too overwhelmed. There's always a lot going on today, isn't there? All the competitions and challenges and freebies. So I hope you're really enjoying it. This is a day for us. So I'm hoping we're all stuck happily at our desks. It's the aftermath afterwards that's the problem, isn't it? The tidying up at the end of the day when everything's everywhere, especially if you're participating in one of those sort of hourly challenges. They can be great fun, can't they? I remember last year, was it last year or the year before, I joined in with the Scrap Gals group and I did a little layout every hour almost. I think it was a real treat just to, sorry, no, I'm not moving from this desk all day. Yeah, by the end that was a mess, but yeah, really enjoyed that. So a few more labels and things. This is the point where I've probably finished, if I'm honest, but I don't want to stop because I'm having too much fun and I want to keep adding things like that ice cream embellishment, but nothing more is really required. And I think I go in with journaling, stamping and enamel dots. I think are coming next. I'm trying to add more, but I think the page is done. There comes a point, I think, when we know we're finished. And with my pages, I do like so much white space. I think the balance of the colour and white, I think I know when it gets too much, and that's the sign to ease off. A few more foam pads. Foam pads, if I didn't mention, are brilliant. Yes, I did mention. I've said that already. Ignore me. Getting old. Right, I'm going to stamp down there. These are my Felicity Jane Essential stamps, which I just adore because there's always a phrase. I know I say this every time, but there's always a phrase that's appropriate. They're just really well chosen phrases, and there's several there that would work great. So I want one just underneath the H and the O there. Can you see that gap just before the P? I'm going to put that in there. And I do that shadow stamping thing. I like the look of that. That always looks sweet to me. Slightly, it reminds me of library books. You know, when you were a kid and you got books out of the library, or the little stamps in the front of the date. And now I think we're looking at enamel dots. I've got these gorgeous ones from Echo Park. I was really thrilled with these. Oh, here I'm explaining how I put down enamel dots. Quick tutorial on enamel dot positioning. So that's how I do it, the bottom one, not the top one. Yeah, I was really thrilled with these because I bought these a while back and I had them, I thought they were so pretty, these dots, that I had them attached to my pin board. And I wasn't using them, and then I designed this kit and looked at the colours and thought, ooh, I've used those exact colours from that Echo Park set. The only colour that came in that pack that I haven't used is orange. There was a set of orange, and it's a lovely orange. It's a really pretty sort of apricot shade, but I'm not an orange girl. I think I've just, I'm just not really into orange. And I'm popping one on the body of that little butterfly too. So that's our dots. I think now I do some journaling. Oh, I was talking about how you could splatter there if you were feeling brave. which I wasn't feeling at all brave. You reach a point, I think, with these pages sometimes where you think, no, I could really ruin this, and I'm not prepared to do that. So, journaling, I think I'm talking about what I'm going to journal, and on this one I'm going to write 3 things I'm grateful for. So that's going to happen there. And I'm talking about a smudge at the top left there, which I'm a bit annoyed by. I don't know how that appeared. I think it might be the black on my nail polish might have scratched off annoyingly. So there, I'm writing 3 simple things I'm grateful for. I go back and add some extra journaling to flesh those out, mainly because I don't like the look of all that white space. It looks too gappy. I do quite like a lot of writing. You know, on Wilna Furstenberg's pages, she does loads of journaling at the end. I always think that looks really beautiful. I mean, it does help that she's got lovely handwriting, but that journaling itself becomes a feature, I think. So I do go back and add some more there. Just punching through the holes so my little rings can pop through, and adding some hole reinforcers. These are just plain white from the stationers. Nothing fancy there. Although I do always fancy those fancy ones. I fancy the fancy ones. You know, Heidi Swap does some little patterned hole reinforcers, doesn't she? Those are really pretty. But I've never quite found the budget. So I'm popping the date, and I can't decide where to do it. Ends up going down there at the bottom. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I hope you have a really fun day.